Okay, we've got ourselves an M3 here. Here is the review. Right, but the first thing I can tell you is that this has a sequential gearbox, which I'm going to have to say gives me the impression it needs a lot of getting used to. Fortunately, I've got a fucking lovely car here, but the fucking camera's not working. Right, well, suspension is fantastic, very, very rigid. This has a sequential gearbox, which may appeal to some people, but I have to admit it's a little bit on the tricky side to use. We've got a paddle shift too. The layout of the dashboard is very, very good. Visibility of this car is not too bad considering it's such a small car. Today is a very, very wet day, and I have to say that it would be so easy to get this car to spin out, so it is a very powerful car, and it lets you know pretty earlier on. I think if you were to go around if you were to go around a corner in the wet and put too much on the accelerator, you would, without a shadow of doubt, be spinning around like an ice skater. The interior of the car is very, very nice. It's a very good looking car, very, very attractive. The gear changes are very aggressive, and each gear change is followed by a bit of a jolt. The only way I can really see to avoid that is to change gear maybe a little bit earlier than one would like to. But this is a very, very, very fast car. It really is quite something. Fortunately, the camera's bouncing around a bit, and I don't really know why. I think the image stabilizer. I think really it would be very easy for someone to get in a lot of trouble with this car. It really, really, really does not take much at all for this car to just spin all over the place. The sequential gearbox, well, I can see the attraction to it. It's very, very, very quick to change. It certainly has its appealing qualities, I would say. But if you were going to drive this car around town, it would be so uncomfortable, it just wouldn't be funny. This is a racing car. Anybody watching this is thinking about buying one. This car is designed for going flat out. It's designed for being driven like a maniac. This is not by any means a commuter car, and if you're thinking of buying a car that just looks good, I wouldn't get this one, because it's just so bloody pokey. It's unbelievable. My overall impressions of this car in the rain are pretty bad, actually. I would have to say that a car this powerful almost certainly should be four-wheel drive. I normally do a 0 to 60 test on the motorway, but I really didn't fancy doing it in this weather, because every time I accelerate and change gear, the back end of this car begins to spin out quite drastically. But we can try anyway. See if we can get a rough idea. We won't get an accurate 0 to 60 obviously because of the weather, but we'll get an idea basically what this thing accelerates like. Well, I can't do it first, it'll just spin out. Spinning, spinning. I can't even accelerate, it's just all over the place. It's not even worth trying, so we'll give the 0 to 60 a miss on this particular occasion. Fantastic steering, car just goes around the corner. It's not leaning in any way at all. This really is a racing car. Here we have the mighty M3. This particular model hasn't even done 1,000 miles, so it might as well just say it's off the showroom now. What a fantastic car. Where would one begin with this? Well, let's start with the basics. First thing is we have a sequential gearbox and we have the paddle shift here on the steering. Now, the interior of this vehicle is pretty much like the same of any other 3 Series. It's got the double dip dashboard. Center console, very basic. In fact, there's a danger of it being a bit bland, to be fair. You've got your sequential gear lever here, and you've got your transmission control, etc, etc, everything all laid out here. And you got the traction, everything all here. You got your joystick here for your screen up here to control your sat-nav radio, etc. Now the wing mirrors on this vehicle are, to be honest, they're going to be aerodynamic. It's an M3, so they're not too bad. Could be a little bit bigger though, but the vision's pretty good. The vision out the back, rear view. Well, the headrests do take up a bit of it, but it's pretty clear, to be fair. Now the driving position, very aggressive. I say aggressive because the seat grips you like a bucket seat. Now the suspension, shock absorbers, rock hard. The car doesn't give at all. This is a sports car, and boy oh boy, doesn't it let you know it when you're driving it. Steering wheel has this lovely leather trim on it. It feels really, really nice. Good grip. Center console, not center console, the instrument panel here, instrument cluster, it's not in any way obstructed by the top of the steering wheel. Everything's easy to read. You've got the familiar M-Tech sign, just to let you know, in case you forget that you've got the M-Tech here and you're in the M car. Even on this dashboard part here, you're reminded. In fact, this is the Performance Edition, which is one of 30 made, so it's quite an exclusive car. Leather seats, very nice, very attractive. Look, this is a great car. It's well put together, it's well machined, it's well engineered, and the moment you sit in the car, you just know you're in an exclusive sports vehicle. Now, unfortunately, it's chucking down with rain. But I think we owe it upon ourselves to do a 0 to 60 test. I've just collected this car from Paris, so before we leave the country I think we owe it to ourselves to do a 0 to 60 test. So 0 to 60 test, 3, 2, 1. Well, I have to say that's probably fair to say that this car's pretty nippy. Now the coring on this vehicle is wonderful. You go around the corners, well, the car doesn't even lean. I'm going around now and it's like the car's squatting. The only thing I can feel leaning is my body, and even that's pretty much gripped by the seats. The car doesn't even know it's going around a corner. That's how firm these shocks are. They're absolutely fantastic. This car is awesome. My mind is processing now, and I'm trying to find something wrong with this vehicle, something that I could say was unpleasant, something derogatory about the car. The only thing I don't like about these 3 Series is the fact they got the double dip dashboard. Apart from that, they're fantastic. Even the 330 diesel is an amazing car. The steering, it's rock hard. You know, anybody thinking about getting a BMW, at the end of the day, you know, you don't have to get an M Series, but if you're going to get one with the M-Tech suspension, because it makes such a difference. My God, this car is fast. This has got to be one of the fastest cars on the road. It just goes like a 911. It just feels like it wants to grip the road. I mean, it's pouring down with rain. There's no grip on the road, but it just doesn't stop this car at all. It's got the traction control on. The wheels are not spinning. Any other car, you just be spinning all over the place. But what a difference this makes. Car just goes. It's a work of art. I can't find anything with this car that's I can fault it with. It's amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. There's nothing about it which doesn't say yes. It's even got 4 seats. If you're thinking about buying one of these, you're fortunate enough to be able to afford to, well, put it this way, the moment you take one for a test drive, it will be sold. The BMW M Sport, my word, these cars are absolutely fantastic. Just going around the roundabout now, just to see what this corner's like. It just eats the corners. It feels like you could go around the corner at 150 miles an hour and it'd still be there. What an amazing car. BMW M3.